In this statement from Christ, we find a very interesting event occurring. The very first thing that I want to tell you about is the most obvious thing, is the reason why he was suffering so much anguish. The very first thing is very simple thing, very most obvious thing that you've all probably heard. He was suffering all of this anguish because in the very first time in his earthly existence, Jesus was disconnected from God. Yeah. That's the very obvious thing. You know, this is the same Jesus who went into the pool, and when he was getting ready to get baptized by John the Baptist, the skies opened up and a dove alighted on his shoulder, and the voice of heaven came out and said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well." Don't forget this word, pleased. Okay. All right. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Yes. Don't forget that word. It's okay. Don't forget that word, pleased. Don't forget that word, pleased. Yeah. Jesus got baptized and God said, "This is my beloved Son, within whom I am well pleased." All right. But yet on the cross, Jesus is making a cry of anguish. In the beginning of his ministry, God said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." But now at the end of his earthly ministry, he is making a cry of anguish. Webster defines anguish as extreme pain, distress, and anxiety. That's straight out of Webster's dictionary. If you jump to anxiety, you will find a painful or apprehensive uneasiness of the mind, usually overwhelming the person. They are overwhelmed by the impending ill that is coming towards them. Fearful concern or interest are cause of anxiety. An abnormal or overwhelming sense of apprehension and fear often marks physiological signs such as sweating, tension, and increased pulse. Doubt concerning the reality and nature of the threat, and the self-doubt about one's capacity to cope with what they're getting ready to deal with. These are Webster's definitions for the word anguish. Webster describes a condition that we commonly know as panic. He describes a condition that we commonly know as anxiety disorder. He defines a condition that is entitled by many psychiatrists as a hopeless situation. Because when people suffer from anxiety, the definition of their suffering is described as their inability to produce hope. When you suffer from anxiety or panic disorder, you lack the ability to produce hope. Which means that if you're suffering from this condition, you can't see past that moment. So therefore, you can't plan for tomorrow. You can't see past where you're sitting, so therefore you can't plan for the future. You lack the ability to produce a plan B, because plan A in your mind is failing. That means the death of what I'm dealing with is happening right now. Anxiety